What's up YouTube, Jeff back from SamyGuru.com, and today another very exciting Samsung video. Samsung has pushed out a massive update to the Home Up application for Good Lock, which tons of us were waiting on. This update brings some amazing new features for gesture tuning, blur tuning, and actually builds a lot of the Home Up features you know and love into the One UI stock home screen settings, the stock task changer settings, etc. So we're going to look at this today. This is an overview of the update. I haven't had a chance to fine tune all the settings yet because it's only been out for less than 15 hours probably when I'm recording this. And so I will go through and just kind of give you a broad overview. I'll try to get into the specifics of each individual feature, but then I'll make another video later on with all the kind of suggested settings that we have to get the most out of this and also make your home screen gestures and everything look the best that you possibly can. Before we get started, make sure you check out our website, SamyGuru.com. We did cover the update in detail in written form. Josh Skinner, one of our writers who does great tutorials and coverage of One UI app changes and all that kind of stuff with updates, he wrote this up. I'll kind of be going through his article as an outline for my video today. Check that out. You can also get in our mystery box program. If you haven't ordered the Z Fold 7, Z Flip 7, or Watch 8 yet and you're planning to, you get a free mystery box with a case, screen protector, cleaning kit, desktop phone stand, a bunch of other random goodies. Tap on the orange banner at the top. Use our affiliate link to order and fill out the verification form. You'll get the mystery box. We cover the shipping costs and all that stuff. We use our affiliate revenue to do that. Hugely appreciate you guys who do participate. We had almost 1,000 people participate this launch. Helps the website and keep the YouTube channel going as well. All those links are in the pinned comment and description below. So let's get into it. The version is 17.0.00.28, and let me just go right into it. First of all, this is not fully rolling out to the Galaxy Store yet. So if you go to your Galaxy Store, or even if you go to your Good Lock, you're probably not going to see it just yet. I'll have the APK in the description. Again, I don't recommend downloading APKs from people you don't know. You should always be very wary of doing that. But I mean, I pull these APKs myself and scan them and everything. I wouldn't give you guys anything with malware. Anyway, this is the version right here, 17.0.00.28. And we've got now the ability to not only do some new stuff, but it also works on the new foldables. And I'll show you something on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 in just a moment, because it actually brings a revolutionary feature that was missing from the Z Fold 7. So if we go into home screen, the first thing you want to enable here is you want to enable the Use Settings dialog on the home screen. This will allow you to get a lot of your great Home Up features baked directly into your One UI home settings. So if you go and long press on your home screen now, once you turn that on, down here at the bottom to the right of settings, you're going to see this Home Up icon, which you can tap on, and then you're going to be able to get Home, Hot Seat, and App icon, where you can loop your pages, hide the page indicator, which certainly makes it look great if you have a minimal setup, change your home screen grid, which has this really cool looking little ticker you can slide up and down. You actually see a preview of how it looks as you go. And this was actually added to the main screen of the Z Fold 7. It was missing at launch, so we were all wondering, would it come back with Home Up? And the answer is yes. You can also get Finder access from within Home as well. From the hot seat, you can show your favors, move your app button, of course, if you're using the 3-button nav, and your favorite max count. The app icon here, you can see your app icon settings. If you want to change the icon size, I have mine set to 105%. Also show item label on home screen or show item label on the app screen if you want. Let me go back. Of course, I navigated away. And then down here, you've got your icon size toggles. If you don't want to tap on that and see the preview, you can do all that from there. Now, if you go into your task changer, you also have the ability in the 3 dots menu to access Home Up. You guys see I'm using the grid style task changer. You go into Home Up here, you'll see you've got your task changer on or off. Change the layout type directly from here. Again, I'm using grid, which is very popular. Mini mode, which will basically turn this, you can see the preview of what it does as well, which is something I really love. And then you can see the app labels here and the search bar. You can see all of those changes directly from within your task changer as well. Now, if you go into your app screen, 3-dot menu, once again, you now have Home Up here. You can use horizontal scrolling and change the number of columns, 4, 5, 6, or 7. I do have 7, which is the maximum size for the number of columns in the app screen. So this is actually a huge change, even though it's not perhaps the most sexy feature in that it's nothing really groundbreakingly new, but giving people the option to utilize this directly within One UI opens it up for more average users to utilize this and makes it feel like it's more of a Samsung application instead of a third-party add-on, which a lot of people have felt over time that Good Lock and Home Up kind of feel that way. Now it definitely feels more like a part of One UI proper. Up next, if we go through the list here that Josh had in the outline, gesture tuning gets even more advanced features. So if you go into Home Up now and you go to your gesture tuning over in gesture settings and turn this on, Previously, we had home gesture animation tuning. All of these settings are still the same, and we actually did a full guide going through the advanced settings that we're using on our phones at Sammy Guru. I'll link the link below. I'll link the article below, but you also have these preset options if you want to utilize those. And now we have this new feature called App Open Animation Tuning. And what this lets you do is it lets you control the app open animation separately from your home gesture animation. So now you can use simple tuning, which will let you crank this up. You can go slow to fast. Basically, when you choose to open your application, like if I open X, this is going to tell me how fast my app open animation is. And that, of course, is separate from home gestures, which is controlling how fast it kind of goes home when you go out of an app like this and then go directly to the home screen. So if you want those to be separate, now you can do that. You also have advanced tuning for this, and we will make a full guide on the advanced tuning for this as well, telling you what we're using. Haven't had a chance to play with it, so I don't want to give you some rushed version that's not very good, but Josh and I will both kind of come up with some ideas and talk about what we're using. For now, I've just sped mine up a little bit on the app open animation tuning, just because that's kind of how I like it. You can play with it, come up with what works best for you. You also have this new blur animation tuning opportunity, which is icon blur, wallpaper blur. You can choose to do one or both, and you have 3 blur levels. That's actually, if you go to the article, Josh covered that down here. Blur gets huge improvements. You can choose, we only had a bare bones blur toggle, bare bones, I put an extra L in there. And we only had a bare bones blur toggle in One UI 7 home up, and it was buried deep inside the gesture tuning, but now it stands on its own with its own menu. And so when you go back here, you can see this particular menu is inside gesture settings. It kind of would have been nice if it was back, even one layer out from that, in my opinion, but it is nice to have this right here under the gesture tuning. And you can turn on icon blur or wallpaper blur separately. I think Josh said you have to do both. You can really do them separately if you want. And you have 3 different choices. You have thin, thick, or regular. Regular is the default, but you can kind of see if you turn it on thin, you don't really see much blur at all when you go home. It says, please note the blur effect may increase memory usage and power consumption, potentially causing overheating and performance issuing, such as stuttering. For more smoother usage, we recommend disabling the blur effect. Even though the warning is there, I've been testing it so far, the various blur levels. I haven't noticed any issues, but your mileage may vary, but I haven't really had any issues. Now, if you go to thick, you'll notice there's a lot of blur when you go home. You can certainly see the amount of blur that appears when you go there. Let's see if I can go back and show it again with thin. You can see with thin, there's very minimal blur happening here. You don't see much at all, but I haven't really noticed any issues with overheating. Let's see if I can do regular. There's regular. I don't know which one I like best, actually. I'm not quite sure. The thick kind of looks nice, but I'm not sure exactly which one I love the most. Let's see if we turn off the wallpaper blur. If we just do icon blur, it's kind of hard to notice this unless you go kind of slow. You can kind of see the icons versus the wallpaper. If we can turn off the icon blur and go wallpaper only, you can see how the wallpaper kind of blurs and the icons do not. So this is kind of a nice setting to be able to play around with. Some people, talked about how much they wanted to have extra blur things here. You can apply blur to app open animations and home screen gesture animations. It does not work on models that do not supply real-time blur. So some of the mid-range and lower tier models, this first particular feature may not work properly, but as long as your device supports it, then you can do both. And for now, I'm going to leave it on for both, but it works for both home gesture and, again, app opening on the blur. Although I think the app opening one seems a little more obvious. Maybe that's just my eye, but that's something I've noticed in playing around with it so far. So that's blur directly within the gesture settings, right below the new app open animation tuning, which has now been separated from the home gesture animation tuning. The last thing, which Josh outlined in his article as well, is the DIY home. And this was the craziest feature that was added to home up with the previous update. If you go into home screen, you can toggle on DIY home screen, which is still listed as being a beta feature. Toggle it on, you now get the ability to take full control of your home screen, and they've added some new granular controls for this. When you go in here and tap DIY in the top right, you now have this little toggle here that lets you move each icon. So if I tap the Fiverr icon, I can tap the down and it moves it ever so slightly down, and tap the left, it moves it ever so slightly left. So this little D-pad lets you perfectly align your icons if you're really someone who's really, really picky about it, which a lot of people who do their setups like this are going to be picky. If you toggle this to the middle, you now get a settings icon, and that will allow you to lock this icon in place. You can get rid of it entirely, or this element. It could be a widget or whatever. If you choose two of them, you can now choose to, let's say that this one's, you can choose to kind of make them sync together. And then also, if you have a bunch of things highlighted, I can then use the edges of this square to expand, contract, and rotate those two widgets at the same time. So they've really given you some more granular controls here. They've made the taskbar better. They've improved a lot of things about this, the alignment, the ability to take control and do this in a nice way, move groups together at the same time, and change their size as well. We'll definitely do a more in-depth look. This definitely gives you more of like a third-party launcher look, like Josh said, and it definitely lets you take your customization to the next level. I'll do another video on DIY because I did one before and people found it very interesting. I just wanted to kind of show you guys all the new features today. The homepage indicator removed, I talked about that earlier. The toggle between the vertical and horizontal scrolling, that means you can do it even in alphabetical order, and that actually is a pretty big deal. So if you go to the home, to your app screen, go back to home up here, you can use horizontal scroll and it won't change this from alphabetical order. So now it's in alphabetical order. Previously, if you wanted to do horizontal scrolling, you had to have it in the custom order and it would only work in alphabetical order for vertical scrolling. So if you love your horizontal scrolling, but you want to have that alphabetical order still, you can still do that with this new Home Up update. Finally, I want to show you guys something on the Z Fold 7. So if we go into the Z Fold 7 here, I want to show you something that they improved. The Z Fold 7 did not have the ability, this new version of Home Up works on the Z Fold 7, first of all. It did not have the ability to get the app grid changed on the main screen. And now if you enable the options with Home Up, long press and go to the Home Up icon, you can now change your home screen grid to be larger and it adjusts the widget size properly. You can go up to an 8x8 grid on your home screen for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, which is going to be a huge deal, I know, for Fold fans because it gives you so much more screen real estate. It's a 6x6 grid by default, which, you know, feels okay, but definitely not as good as what you can get with that 7x7 or 8x8 grid. And of course, you should notice if you do change this, there is a little bit of a bug where it will shift your apps up, which you may not want. So if you go back to your previous setup, that's still a little buggy. It's probably because they're just working out some of those small bugs in this new version of Home Up. You also have, with the foldables, I just want to mention since I was in there and saw it, this taskbar option that lets you have the floating taskbar and you can change the detailed settings of the floating taskbar. If you go in here, you can have simple, pixel, advanced tuning, reaction delay time, call sensitivity, holding time. You can change, you know, how sensitive it is to do your swipe up gestures. You can do quick type switching, which press and hold the app button to switch the taskbar type. You can see right here, it switches between it. So if you go in here, it'll switch it down here to this version, the smaller version that's pinned at the bottom. And then you can hold this and it goes away. You can cycle through it. And you can fix the recent apps max count regardless of the space constraints. The maximum number of recent apps is displayed. They may appear small if you do this, depending on the situation, but you can change it. Now this edit thing, I have not been able to figure out exactly. This might actually work in the main settings. Let's just go and check it out. We're already here. Let's go to the taskbar and see if we can figure this out. If you go to the taskbar in the main settings, no, it doesn't provide any additional options. So I'm not sure. This might not be working yet on the Fold 7. Change the location of the taskbar icon. I don't really see this doing anything. So I don't know. Someone let me know if I'm missing something. That one doesn't seem to work yet on my Fold 7, but there are some nice features there for the taskbar as well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video on the new update to Home Up. Pretty massive update that will also make your experience on the Fold better. I just need to fix my icons there to bring them back down. I'll probably go to the 7x7 grid on the Fold just because it gives you more information density. Let me know what you guys think. If there's something I missed, let me know, probably because this update hasn't been around but for a few hours. I'll make a more detailed video very soon on recommended settings for you guys. Check out the mystery box program below. Appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.